History made again at the New York Stock Exchange with no apparent end in sight. For the very first time, not only did the Dow hit 25,000 points, it stayed there. Closing above that extraordinary mark, the excitement palpable at the start of trading.
Stand by for glory, ladies and gentlemen. We are a mere 13 seconds away from what we think could be the opening bell ringing on Wall Street to greet 25,000.
There it is. Man, that graphic goes fast. Dow, 25,000, halfway between 20K and 30K, a little less than a year.
Dow just crossed 25,000 for the first time. Stocks are higher due to the release of stronger than expected jobs data.
And at 4 p.m. Eastern time today, it became official.
The Dow making history once again, closing above 25,000 for the first time ever.
One report noting the near meteoric rise since President Trump took office. Quote, consider that it took the Dow 14 years to climb from 10,000 to 15,000 and 3.5 years to reach 20,000. The ride from 20 to 25,000, not even 12 months. Don't blink or you'll miss another landmark. The news of the Dow surge not lost on President Trump, who has now set a brand new goal.
We broke a very, very big barrier, 25,000. And there were those that say we wouldn't break 25,000 by the end of the 8th year. And we're in the 11th month. We did, in fact, break 25,000, very substantially break it, very easily. So I guess our new number is 30,000. But what it means is every time you see that number go up on Wall Street, it means jobs, it means success, it means 401ks that are flourishing.
Here now, Marc Short, White House Director of Legislative Affairs. So, Mark, next stop, 30,000?
Well, Sandra, we're obviously excited with the market. It shows, I think, enthusiasm and support for the president's agenda, particularly what we've been able to do on the regulatory front. But we're also excited to be delivering tax relief to middle-income families. We think they're going to begin seeing a lot of the benefits as well. In addition to the stock number, as you mentioned, unemployment's at a 17-year low. Unemployment for Hispanics is an all-time low. And now, since the tax reform package was passed, 920,000 Americans, 920,000 Americans have either received a bonus or increased wages from companies that have announced benefits to those employees.
The president, Mark, takes a lot of credit for this. I mean, we see him tweeting about it a lot, and rightly so. It's exciting for the American people to see the stock market going up like that. But President Obama, I remember back in December, he took credit for it. He said this is a result of his years of policies. You know, so what specifically has the president done in his first year of office that he can take credit for this enormous rise in the stock market?
Well, Sandra, I think it's a couple things. One, again, I think it's rolling back the regulatory burden that was here during the Obama years. I think that that's been significant and has given investors a lot of encouragement. I do think that the tax plan has certainly provided relief. Lowering the corporate rate has helped to bring jobs back to America. And as I said, providing that sort of all those bonuses to American workers. Nancy Pelosi said the tax plan would be economic Armageddon. Well, not one Democrat voted for it. I hope those 920,000 workers who receive those benefits remember that in November.
Well, I want to throw the president's most recent tweet up on the screen because it was about 10 minutes ago that he tweeted this. Thank you to the great Republican senators who showed up to our meeting on immigration reform. We must build the wall, stop illegal immigration, end chain migration, and cancel the visa lottery. The current system is unsafe and unfair to the great people of our country. Time for change. So now that tax reform is done, Mark, how do you prioritize the legislative goals of this White House? What is going to be the next big fight?
Well, we've always wanted to solve the DACA problem. The president had put forward last fall a proposal to Congress that here's what we want in exchange for providing certainty for those participants in the deferred plans for those who arrived here as illegals. So we're looking to solve that problem. But I think there's also budget that needs to be approved. You know, budget usually is approved by the end of September. The president puts forward his budget in February, and then the appropriations process happens. Here we are now in January without a deal. Our national security is in jeopardy with Congress not being able to pass funding to help to provide funds for our troops and help to provide security for our country.
That's obviously an issue, Mark, and that deadline's quickly approaching to fund the government, January 19th. And you just had Chuck Schumer, leading Democrat, say we have leverage going into this. And as you know, He wants DACA tied into to whatever happens there. So what is the leverage that Democrats have going into this?
Well, the reality is that we need 60 votes in the United States Senate. And so we are going to need to get Democrat support and have this be bipartisan. What we find confounding is why Democrats don't want to make sure that our troops are funded and to make sure our country is safe and providing funding for the government. We also want a solution for DACA, but why they're getting married together remains confusing to us. So we think it's important that we go ahead and get a budget caps deal and that we fund the government, take care of the people that we need to take care of, and make sure that our country is safe. We also want to solve DACA, but tying them together is just going to, I think,
so you say they have no leverage with DACA making it into the funding?
No, I think that there is leverage because the reality, as I said, is we need 60 votes. What I think is frustrating and difficult to understand is why, if we're all supporting the need to get a budget cap deal in place, why tangential issues are thrown in and our troops are held hostage over those issues. We think DACA should be solved. We want a solution. We've put forward our proposal to Congress. We're waiting for them to come back with legislation for us, but to tie the whole hands of the United States government and our troops and hold it hostage to a solution on a problem for illegal immigrants is difficult for us to understand.
Well, it's great to get you on tonight specifically to talk about the economy and this soaring stock market. It seems to be getting lost. You know, you're not hearing a lot about that, and the president accurately notes that, but we're covering it here because it is something that affects the American people. Marc Short, thanks for coming on tonight.
Thanks for having me on, Sandra. I appreciate it.
From the White House.